While trying to live the quiet suburban life, a family of undercover superheroes are forced into action to save the world.
Welcome to the Walt Vault with
Michelle,
Andre,
Louise,
and me, Emily. We're a family-friendly podcast where we pick a new Disney movie each week. We watch it, share our thoughts, and then relate it to pop culture, fandoms, and anything else that pops into our heads. Enjoy!
hello and welcome to the Walt Vault, episode 33.
I do that every time.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
I gotta stop that.
Well,
I'll do that one instead.
this week we're talking about The Incredibles.
The Incredible
Oh, I did it again.
Incredibles.
Dang it.
Came out in 2004, directed and written by Brad Bird.
Still
Pixar.
good. Still Pixar, yes.
Still Pixar.
Yeah, still
Yes,
Pixar.
this is the second in our series of Pixar Fest movies. Is that what
Well,
we're
it's
calling
Pixar movies, you know.
it? Yeah, because it's Pixar Fest.
Yeah.
So we're doing all the Pixar movies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And in honor of Incredibles 2 coming out this week.
that's right.
Which is unfortunate.
We're-
I mean, it's great that it's coming out, but Andre and I are going to be in Mexico on a cruise. That means we have to wait like 3 whole days.
Oh my God, sucks so bad for all you people who, have a cruise.
When does it come out in Mexico?
I don't think we can see it in Ensenada. I don't know.
man, you guys need to chill. It's 3 days. You're still gonna watch it first week.
Yeah. But
Okay, we probably have gone like till the absolute last dying day to
No,
watch.
you know, I was proud of you guys. You guys actually saw Infinity War like the first week. I was like, wow, they did it.
Yeah.
Well, because I didn't want to hear you.
Yeah,
True.
I
were-
did.
We both
I'll
just
be
said
honest.
true.
I literally went. I told Louise, I was like, we have to go because we're gonna see Andre and Michelle in the next couple of days, and if I have to hear them
Yeah.
going on and on, I'm gonna lose it.
Which is exactly what we did. It's a good thing you went to go see it. Cause,
I know.
You went on and on
we
too.
were
Yeah, we did
relentless.
together.
Mhm.
I can't listen to you go on and on. I have to be in on the action.
Action.
The
Speaking
point-
of action, speaking of superheroes, what are we talking about?
Incredibles.
Oh, that's right.
What do you mean?
Burner,
What's your first
burner.
impression?
I don't think Andre should go first.
I
I think
should.
Andre should go last.
Yes.
No, make him go first. I'm just kidding. Luis, what is your first impression?
I like that superhero movies go.
What?
Wow. So much.
I want that
description.
printed on like the front of the
Superhero
DVD cover
movies
as like
go.
a quote. I liked it. Superhero movies go. Luis.
It rhymes. I'll go next.
Okay, go.
I really like this movie. And for the first time ever, I like this movie better as an adult than I did as a kid.
What?
Yeah.
Nice.
Usually I like movies a lot as a kid and then continue to like them a lot. And
Right.
I don't remember hugely loving this movie as a kid. And when we rewatched it, I was like, boom, this movie is so good.
Yeah.
I remember hugely loving this movie as a kid. We watched it a lot, like every car ride driving to Disneyland. This one and Monsters, Inc. They were like up there for our car ride to Disneyland movies in the van.
Movies in the van.
Yeah, that's
In
the
the
thing.
van.
I'm pretty sure this is like one of the best superhero movies of all time. Just saying. Andre.
I absolutely love this movie. There's nothing that can make me stop loving it. I love it forever. I've loved
face,
it
though.
always. It came out in 2004, but it's always existed for me. You know what I'm saying?
What if it
From the
cheated
beginning
on
of
you?
time.
Yes. Wait, what?
What if it cheated on you? Would you still
Excuse-
love it?
How did
Yeah,
the
what if
movie-
there was no Frozone?
I mean, honestly, this movie's on a pretty long leash. It can do whatever it wants.
Dang.
Like that.
Dang,
Michelle
what
can't.
kind?
Michelle's not allowed to cheat on me, but The Incredibles
Oh,
could cheat.
of course, I would never.
So yeah, it's great. Good stuff.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Loving it. Do you guys want to talk about the music first?
No.
I don't know where to start. I have
I-
nowhere
We
to.
usually start with the characters, but you will talk
Whatever.
about
We're
music.
starting with the music.
Fine.
This movie
All right.
It's Andre's favorite movie. You call the shots.
was composed by Michael Giacchino.
You've been waiting to say that all day long.
I really didn't know what I was going to say like that just now.
Giacchino.
Michael Giacchino. And
Italian?
I believe so, yes.
freaking hope so.
And he's composed like a lot of very popular movies, like a ton of stuff. He's done like a bunch of he's done some Star Wars, he's done some Jurassics, he's done some
Star Wars,
Pixars, he's done some Marvels, he's done a bunch of stuff.
He did Tomorrowland.
He did some Star Treks.
Star Wars is precious.
Wow.
Whoa, hang on a
We
second.
just went all over the place.
That was a journey. Just those 3 words. I thought he was talking about Yoda at first because he said Star Wars, but then he said Precious like it was Lord of the Rings. Man, I'm not cutting that out, Louise. No.
Oh man, sorry guys, I messed up. I was
Star Wars is
definitely
precious.
trying to go into
Schmeagol.
Schmeagol.
You like how I
My
said
fault.
That was
My
Schmeagol.
fault.
Yeah.
Well, he was Yoda-y first,
Yeah, terrible.
Star
Terrible.
Wars. Is-
though. We just have to throw it out there. Luis is on summer mode because today was his last day of school.
Oh,
In his
school's
school
out
year.
for summer.
So he's literally like, he's
Chowing on some talkies.
He's on 10 right
He's
now.
not grading papers right now. He's living his life to the fullest.
Yeah.
He's actually semi-involved in this podcast today.
Louise to the max.
Wow.
That's what Max is right there.
Maximum
He's
Louise.
wearing the Pirates of the Caribbean. We wants the redhead shirt.
Yeah, he's going off.
He's living. He got his summer shirt on.
God.
Giggity.
Oh my God. Stop.
No, okay. Anyways,
What was
yes.
I talking
So
about?
music.
The music, yes. Giacchino.
Giacchino.
He so he's composed a lot of good stuff, but I think that this is his most recognizable work. This entire score, yeah, that stuff. It's
Ba-ba-da-da-da-da-da.
super good. And like I was thinking about it because I sing that all the time,
Yeah,
just
you
like
do.
just like Michelle's doing
He'll
now.
just be going through the house and be like, ba-da-ba-ba-da.
I sing it all the time, but I don't think I've ever listened to the soundtrack just like on its own without watching the movie. But I know this soundtrack extremely well because I've seen this movie.
Like, if I just said ba-da, Andre would be like, dun-dun-dun. Like,
I
that's
almost
how well
did
he
it.
knows it. He would just finish all of the little melodies.
Yeah, so I just wanted to commend Mr. Giacchino on his
Stop. I'm done.
extremely good and talented work.
How do you do that one sound? It, like, stops and it goes like, you know the sound I'm talking about?
Please.
That sounds not as good as the.
I can't do it.
Do you have to do that with your fingers when you make that noise?
Yeah, I have to do that.
He's playing a piano, I think. Or a xylophone. I'm not really sure.
Tickling some keys.
Can you not tickle them, please?
Oh, my gosh.
Stop sliding into DMs.
Wait.
Stop tickling the keys. Thank you. Done.
I wanted to say one more thing about the music. There, the director Brad Bird, he had said that he wanted it to feel like very authentic, like '60s music, and they recorded '60s music like differently than they do most modern music now. So they like recorded everything in a big orchestral band onto analog tapes, even though this came out in 2004 and that was probably
Interesting.
difficult to sync up and stuff like that. But they recorded it all onto analog so that it would sound authentically 60s.
I can respect that.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Sounds time consuming.
It sounds like it takes a long time, yes. Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting because this movie is not set in the 60s, but the feel of the superheroes is old-timey.
Yes.
And I know
Yeah.
that it's supposed to feel old-timey, but that's really cool that they did that because even though I wouldn't have called it out as the 60s, it did feel like
Right.
it was supposed to be from like yesteryears.
Yes.
That's old school. Yeah, the good old days.
That's what I call old school. Old
Oh
school
my
like the
Down
old
by the
school.
bayou.
You guys.
That's not it.
What?
That's not what those two guys said at all. Anyways,
Accent check.
I want to talk about. Let's start with Mr. and Mrs. Incredible, aka Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl,
The Pars.
the Pars. Well, let's talk about before they were the Pars,
Okay, first off, Luis is crying.
because he hit
He elbow.
He got a boo-boo.
He's over here crying.
It's not Mr. Incredible.
Whoa.
You guys need to chill out because I got a bag of Takis, and at the bottom of this bag is Taki dust, and you guys have eyeballs that need to be dusted.
Whoa!
be
Take that
careful.
away
That
from
away from
him.
Be
That-
careful.
You're
That
not Thanos. Get out of here.
That is actually most. Oh, now he's salt baying us with Taki
Oh.
dust. That's a threat. That
He
should
threatened
actually
us.
be like a criminal offense
Yeah.
right there.
How dare you?
I'm gonna
Taki
sue
dust in
you.
the eyeball.
Yeah,
Sue you
like
for
we
that.
sued Mr. Incredible.
You guys can't sue me until I actually do it, so that means you'd still have to let me do it.
Never mind.
We're done with this conversation.
The point
Move along.
is-
Stop crying,
so
Luis.
we meet. We're first introduced to Mr. Incredible in, like we said, this kind of old timey, very
Yeah, they're doing like
Crackly
interviews with all the
TV.
superheroes, and they have like the crackly audio.
Yeah,
and
yeah. Mr. Incredible has a very big ego at that time.
Yeah.
And Elastigirl too. She's like, super like men.
settle down.
She's like,
and let the boys win.
She's all ladies. I love her.
Come on.
So, and the whole scene, I'm trying to think of like the first time I watched it, the scene where they're on the rooftop together and Elastigirl is hardcore flirting with Mr. Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And then you realize they get married, which is like, whoa.
Right.
Like that transition right there, that's Pixar magic there.
It's very good. Very, very, very good.
I like Elastigirl better than Mr. Incredible, though.
I realized that during this watch through of the movie. Like, I don't know that I necessarily ever disregarded Elastigirl before this watching, but this time really cemented in that she is
a BA.
She is awesome.
Her hips don't lie.
Well, it's funny
Her
because
hips don't.
they definitely
hips
do
don't
not
lie. Wow.
Stop.
Look at them go. They're stretching.
So it's funny because I think the reason I like this movie more as an adult than I did as a kid is because I don't think I cared about the whole beginning of the movie. Well, not that part of the beginning. Like fast forward to where they're in the now time.
Yeah.
And
15 years
like
later.
Bob loses his job at the insurance company. I don't think I cared as a kid because I don't
Right.
think I got it.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't understand like the gravity of the situation. But as an adult, you're like, dude, this is all kinds
Dude,
of messed
you
up.
got fired. You
Like,
have 2 kids
you
and a
have-
wife. What are you doing?
Yeah, and like a total life to take care of, but he was put in a really bad situation by his boss,
His
and he
boss
felt
is
bad for the lady.
Straight up evil.
Oh yeah. So then I think that's why I cared more, but the way he went about his redemption was pretty rough, and I
Yeah.
think that's why
He was having a midlife crisis for
Yeah.
sure. An
Exactly.
identity crisis.
and I think that's why, at least for me, I like Elastigirl better because she was trying to be a good mom and like keep the household together and not let the kids know, and he's over here like very, very suspiciously
Yes.
getting himself into
well,
some
if you
weird
think
situation.
about
All
like
kinds of
the moment
antics.
when they interviewed him, he was like, "Yeah, I want to settle down, maybe eventually have kids." And Elastigirl in the interview's like, "Settle down? Yeah, right." But they almost did like a flop,
Oh, for sure.
like where she was like, "Okay, like we're settling down." The government basically Captain America Civil War'd us, and you know we can't be supers anymore. But
well, since you bring that up, let's talk about that a little bit too, because I think that makes a huge dent in the validity of the storyline. I think one of my major issues with superhero movies originally were that, you know, Iron Man, for example, or Captain America, or whoever is in this universe is crashing through buildings, breaking up millions and millions worth of dollars. The city
Yeah.
is literally in shambles, and everyone's happy because they quote unquote saved the day. But like economically, they just ruined an entire landscape, and like I don't know how the city recovers after that kind of stuff. So I think it's really cool that Pixar was one of the first in a cinematic way to take on that that storyline
to address it.
to address the fact that, you know, even though superheroes are cool, they also are kind of like a public menace.
Right.
You know, vigilantes almost.
Oh,
Well,
they were
no,
smashing buildings, cars, everything. And it's funny because I never necessarily realized it the first time I watched Incredibles that they went that route. I mean, obviously, after I saw
Right.
Civil War, I was like, oh, yeah, superheroes do mess a lot of stuff up. So now I pay attention to it. But the entire movie, every time something was getting destroyed, I was like, no. Because now I think about it.
Well, and isn't it
Right.
funny that then he goes into insurance?
Yes,
I feel like
exactly.
that's so funny. Like the one thing he goes into is like,
Yeah.
please don't break
Go
things
save
because then
the
I'm
world
gonna.
one client at a time, honey.
It's hilarious.
But yeah,
too
yeah,
funny.
I completely agree. This movie does a fantastic job of like deconstructing superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was reading about Brad Bird, and apparently he used to like watch cartoons and like spy movies when he was a kid. But that's basically it. He didn't like read comic books too much.
Okay.
And so like the amount of like great superhero writing that's in this movie is that much more impressive because the dude isn't even like super in love with superheroes. And
Well,
so
and maybe that's why he was able to kind of take take a step back and like do good writing for the actual plot, because sometimes I think the writers in even the TV shows that we know and love on, you know, like DC and Marvel, either side, they're just so into like the universe that they're making implausible like plot choices.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that
And
is
also
not
I
what
just-
really
Yeah.
happens
I
in
just
real life.
feel
But
that-
this seems very realistic.
Yeah. And I just feel that no matter what universe, if it's DC or if it's Marvel or just a lot of the storylines are so similar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a superhero movie. Like, everything's kind of semi-similar. Like, someone's gonna mess up the timeline and some alien's gonna come, things like that. But for me, this movie is so original. Like,
Very
they
much.
took the superheroes but made them into a family, and then went that whole family route of discovery and one superhero running away, and like it's very original, even though it's a superhero story.
Well, and I think that it doesn't matter. Well, I mean, obviously it matters that they're superheroes, but at the root and the crux of the problem in the story is the family issues.
Right.
It's not because, I mean, yes, it is because they're superheroes or whatever, or supers, but it's not. It still comes back to that versus like, oh, well, we have to go save the world, because really.
Yeah.
It's about saving their family first, and then through that they're saving the world.
Exactly. It's funny because when we had talked about Lilo and Stitch and how dysfunctional of the family they are, the whole scene in The Incredibles where they're at the dinner table yelling and screaming at each other.
Bob's
Bob's
lifting up the table.
not paying attention at all. He's like, "You want me to intervene? I'll intervene." And even the way Elastigirl's like, "Engage!" Like she's
I'm
still
engaged.
talking like a superhero, you know. That's the most dysfunctional family I've ever seen. Like, it is.
But let's be honest,
hilarious.
It's so. It is unrealistic because he's picking up the table and this and that. But I feel like any quote unquote normal family has had that moment
for sure.
around the dinner table, or even in the front room or in the car or whatever, where it's literally like everyone loses
Everyone
it.
is screaming.
Everyone's screaming, and it has to get to a point of crazy for it to actually become comical, because that has happened in my own family. Like, I remember being young and we were in a fight, and it was over breakfast. I remember this very specifically, and I want to say it was my dad, because Lord knows I didn't start this, right?
It wasn't you.
He picked up a pancake and threw it at the wall, and it turned into a food fight, but
Oh
a fun. It
my God.
actually became comical because it was so ridiculous. And I was like, dude, that's what makes this funny to me,
Yeah.
is
Right.
that it really was quite comical,
Yes.
even though it
that-
was,
yeah,
even
it
though it was
happens
like
all the
she was
time.
really
No
mad.
force fields.
No, yes. Okay, so going to that, my favorite thing was like, okay, brothers and sisters and siblings fight, right? But the way they fight is so funny. No force fields. She was a force field. Like things like that, where it's like,
Superpower fight.
all I had to worry about was my sister locking me in my room, not like using a force field on me.
I used
But
to like
it's-
duct tape my sisters to walls and stuff like that.
Shut up! You did not.
Like a supervillain tying up
You-
a damsel in
you
distress
all
to
three
tracks.
still wrestle all the time.
Yeah, I try to stay out of it, but it happens.
Well, it's because you're the big brother, I
I
think.
am.
And
Yeah.
Michelle, it's really funny to me
I'm
because
in the middle, so they both pick on me.
yeah, Andre is the oldest in his family. Michelle's the middle. Luis is the baby, and I'm an only child. So we're all very
yeah.
like we have
Family
very
dynamic.
different
Fought in
family.
different ways.
In my family, you flip couches over and throw vases at each other's heads and then sock each other in the face.
Man, faces are heavy. You shouldn't be doing that.
Ooh, my family, we different. Like I used to
We're different.
I used to steal my older sister's clothes. I'd be like, I don't know what happened to that really cute top. It's gone. I took it. Things like that.
That would have been
like,
much easier if you could have turned invisible.
but my older sister did. I vividly remember her locking me in my room, and then also my grandma used to travel to different countries and come back with dolls. And she brought back like a voodoo doll from Africa, and all the dolls were in our shared room together. And she would move it closer every single day, like to my bed. And I used to think it was like following me. That was the meanest thing
That's
she
evil.
did. Yeah.
Nikki, evil.
She's listening. I love you, Nikki.
Nikki, evil.
Nigga, that's pretty good.
So getting to the kids, though, so we kind of talked about the parent dynamic. The kids, their powers. I mean, obviously we don't know that Jack has powers at first, but I think growing up, my favorite was Violet, just because she was so insecure about herself and like she has these powers, she doesn't know how to use them. Like I could really relate to that when I was like a teenager. But Dash is, oh god, hands down, this watching it, Dash is my favorite.
Well,
Like,
it's funny
he is-
because
oh.
he annoyed me as a kid. I remember not
he annoyed
liking
me
him.
too.
Because he's like a younger brother.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess.
I don't have a younger brother, and I
Right.
was thanking the Lord that I never did. But it's funny because Luis, I mean, I'm sure he said it on the podcast. I can't remember, but Luis's favorite thing in the whole world, no matter what, is a
Speedsters.
Let's talk about super speed.
Oh
he
man.
loves speedsters. So I
Let's
don't
talk
think
about super speed.
I don't think he remembered. I mean, I think he knew that Dash was a speedster, but when we
Yeah.
watched it, he was just like, "Oh, I love speedsters!" He was so
well,
excited.
especially when Dash runs on water.
Oh, for sure.
Oh man, and he's like, "Wah!" He does that little laugh, like, "I'm so cool."
I need to see Dash phase through things in this next movie.
Yeah,
Once he
dude.
does that,
Oh,
I'll
my-
be like, all right, you are
He
the best.
might. Right.
So like,
You never know.
Because
I mean,
he's older now, and his powers have developed. I didn't even think about.
so like
that.
we were watching
kill people with your hand.
the movie, and yes, dude, and like
This is not the Flash.
he's
Sorry.
he's in the jungle. He saves Violet from the rocket blast coming out of the cave or whatever, and then they start like running through the jungle, and he has to go off and like use his powers to like the most of his abilities that he's ever done before. And that entire sequence where he
So
may or may not
good.
kill 6 or 7 thugs.
I think 6 confirmed kills.
6
You said.
confirmed kills
Woo.
for Dash. That is one of the best uses of super speed in a movie ever. And
Oh,
like
it's
very, very.
so
It's
good.
masterful.
and like there have been some newer good ones, like the Quicksilver scenes in the X-Men movies. I don't know if any of you guys have seen those.
Quicksilver in the Wolf, not Wolf. What did you say? X-Men.
X-Men.
Is to me better than the ones in Help Me.
Flash?
The one no, the Quicksilvery dude, the
Avengers.
Russian
in the Avengers.
Scarlet's brother.
Age of
Oh.
Ultron.
Yes.
Correct.
Better than him.
But-
See, those super speed scenes are on the low rung.
Yeah.
Dash and Quicksilver.
Here's what I have to say about Dash.
Hold on. Are we talking about speed scenes? Because the
Yes.
one from X-Men, the one with Apocalypse.
Yeah. Where he's running through the
That-
house.
No. Oh, yes, that one. I was thinking about the first
The
one.
one
where-
He
where
is
he's running
so
through the
excited
kitchen.
right
No,
now.
no.
I'm telling you,
Hey,
Luis.
I like
loves
those because they're in
speedsters.
like slow motion.
Yes.
But like in this movie, he's
Fast.
going very fast.
Here's what I have to say about Dash. Think about how old do we think he is? 7?
He's 10.
Okay, 10. So you take
10.
this 10-year-old boy who is very smart, and he's been told his whole life, do not run fast, don't use your powers, and he's testing the waters. This happens, and his mom tells him, like, you need to run. First of all, they fall off the plane. He runs them all the way to shore. He's burnt out.
Paddles them out.
Then, yeah, basically. Then this happens, and the guards are chasing them on these little flying saucer things. He runs super fast. He runs off a cliff, on top of a thing, punches a dude in the face because he's super fast, so he could just punch him really fast like he did, knock the guy out. He exploded. Then he fell all the way down a tree. Then he ran across the water. He crashed all these things together, and then his sister force fielded him, and then he ran his sister. He is doing the most.
Well, he has the
most.
most confirmed kills for sure.
The most
Like, I
confirmed
never
kills.
realized how much Dash was actually doing for them as a team, but he's a BA.
Well, and I think that's the cool thing is that their powers, I mean, and isn't this like the truism of all superhero people that work together in a team? As a team, they're so much stronger
They
together.
work
work together
And
very
I think that the speedsters really do like tie everyone together
They
because
do a
strength
lot.
is cool, right? Obviously, and Elastigirl is really cool.
She's
but like
she's very
together,
cool.
they can now move at the speed of light practically.
It's so cool, that moment right after what you were talking about where Dash and Violet are in their like
A Violet
very
force
fast
field.
moving bubble.
Yeah. Which
and
is
they-
amazing
And
for
they
Violet.
meet back up with their parents for like the first time in a while, and they hug for 1 second, and then the more thugs come in, and they're like da-da-da-da-da, and then they break into their poses, and
Yeah.
Dash immediately creates like a vortex around
yeah.
them, and
He
Violet's
learned how
force
to use
fielding
his.
them.
That's why I'm saying for not using his powers for so
Mm-hmm.
long, he was just in it to win it right off the bat. And then they get to see their parents be BAs and like start punching dudes out, and they're looking at them like, "What? We're so cool!"
Yeah. Oh,
It's
yeah.
the Fantastic Four
They're all
movie we
proud.
never had.
Yes,
It's the Fantastic Four movie that Andre wished we had, but it just never happened.
This is I was always thinking before I had watched it this time that like this is the best Fantastic Four movie that exists, right? Like it's the greatest team of a superhero family that is going on. Like it's much better than all 3 of the Fantastic Four movies that have existed combined. But when I was watching it this time, I was like, this movie is like so much better than just a Fantastic Four movie because
Oh, it's so dynamic.
they do so much good world building in this.
for sure.
Between the old timey like talking heads where they were talking at the very beginning, and like Edna Mode describing all of the costumes
Yep.
and stuff like that, and all of the gazer beam, like all of the superhero names that they come up with, and the super villains. It's all awesome.
And it's
Bon voyage, come on, baby, let's go.
well, and it's funny because in some ways, and I don't mean this word comes out negatively. I don't mean it in a negative way. In some ways, that information is unnecessary because it would have still been a good story without it. But then you add that in, and it add, like you're saying, it adds so much texture to the movie.
That's the Pixar coming
that it's totally a
real
real
world.
Yeah.
So it's so fantastic.
Oh, it's a real world. We still got a couple characters. We got to talk about villains. Edna, and take it away with your favorite little dude, Frozone.
Oh, Frozone's awesome.
Who actually has pretty cool powers, too.
Yes, ice power.
Oh, no, Frozone's legitimate.
And like
he's super cool.
He has his ice powers. They work not completely undifferently than other ice powers that I've seen in like comics and movies.
It's better
and
than
stuff like
Elsa.
That. But
I mean.
the way that better than Frozone versus Elsa, Frozone wins every time.
Yeah.
Easy.
Well, here's my question
Frozone
though.
versus Caitlin Snow.
Frozone.
Frozone.
Caitlin Snow's evil, so evil will always triumph.
What? You know that's not true,
the
dude.
antithesis of everything that we've
We'll talk about that in a second, but but Frozone, I think my favorite moment of him is when they're fighting the robot at the end, but he all of a sudden just is on like a sled on his feet, like a.
He's got some tech in his
It was
suit.
all fung, fung, and it came out, and I went, "Oh!"
He
I had
pops
forgotten
out
about that.
skis, and then it turns into like a little bowl thing that he slides on. It's so cool. It's awesome, and I love the way that he like just skates across.
Yes.
The
He's a
ice.
speed skater.
Like
That's what it reminds me of.
Iceman from the X-Men. He does a similar thing where he creates ice slides and he can like fly through a city basically, and he's just kind of like surfing on it. But the way that Frozone like
Silver
actually
Surfer? Is
moves
that
his
the same
arms
thing?
and skates. No, Silver Surfer is a cosmic being. He's kind of a
mind.
different guy. The way that Frozone skates along his ice slides is almost cooler than Iceman.
Well, because it
It's
makes
cool.
it makes it seem like he's putting more effort into
Yeah.
it. And when I feel like when they put a lot of effort, it makes them more likable versus just like this is super easy.
it's
for
more
me.
dynamic too. It's just awesome to look
Well,
at.
and he's down. He's like he's in that.
He's in the speed
he assumes
skater
the
stance.
position.
If you've ever
Right.
seen like Olympic speed skating, that's what it looks
That's
like.
why his
for
outfit
sure.
looks like he just got off the track at the Olympics.
Exactly.
Like that.
He's ready to go. So you might as well do it. Please. I've heard Andre do it 7 million times.
Oh, he has. Oh my god.
Go ahead, Andre. I want to hear it.
Honey,
What?
where's my super suit?
What?
Where is my super suit?
I put it away.
Where?
Why do you need to know?
I need it.
This is the best. You have to do this one.
She goes, you ain't. Don't you think about running off doing no daring do? We've been planning this dinner for months. The public is in danger. My evening is in danger. You tell me what my suit is, woman. We're gonna talk about the greater good. Greater good. I am the greatest good you're ever gonna get.
You know how excited I am to meet Honey in Incredibles 2?
Honey's the best.
It's going down. We gonna meet Honey.
I haven't.
That whole scene is great because he's like rummaging through his entire apartment. It's missing from his like display case that he has.
But you know why it's great? Because you never see her, and I can just imagine her doing her hair in the bathroom, being like, "The greater good,"
Right.
like curling her hair.
She's
or
almost
something.
ready. She's so mad. And he goes out anyway.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm pretty sure that's one of the best Pixar scenes of all time.
Don't go doing no daring do.
Frozone, I think, has some of the best. Well, we'll get to my favorite character in a second, but Frozone has some of the best lines in this whole thing. Like, I don't remember what Bob says to him, but they're like in the car listening in on the police radio, and he's like, "Aren't you excited?" or whatever he says, and Frozone's like, "Nah, I'd pretty much rather go bowling."
Well, and that's why I love
How do we do what we
Frozone.
actually say to our wives? that
I
we're doing?
love Frozone because if you think about these supers aren't really supposed to associate with each other anymore
Right.
because they'll get figured out. But Frozone is still like the best friend. He's like the uncle to the kids.
Right.
Yes.
He's such a good guy. He knows Bob needs to stop it with all this stuff, but he's gonna humor
Yet
him
he
anyway.
indulges him.
Well, and I really do think that he's indulging him so that he can keep him out of trouble. Like,
Yeah.
he can
Yeah,
keep
he's
him in the
trying.
best out of trouble
Think about
as
how
possible.
much trouble how many times they have to relocate. Like, whew.
Right?
That poor guy's like, we have to erase mines, and then we have to. How many times are we gonna do
Money,
crossing
money,
the
money,
government?
money, money,
Yeah, money. So Frozone is really like the best friend, you know.
Yes.
Some another Mike and Sully relationship going on
The
right there.
bestest best friend.
Yeah.
We look like bad guys. Incompetent bad guys.
Andre didn't get to try out for that part because he was a kid,
Yeah,
but
so
if there's ever goes on Broadway or something,
mere
he's there.
13.
Which is funny because apparently Samuel L. Jackson, who voices him, like dug that character. He
Right.
was like, hounding.
It's so
like
fun.
Brad Bird and other people, like Pixar in general, are hounding them for an
The role.
Incredibles 2.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
like
yeah.
after
Oh,
it
yeah.
came out, he was like totally in love with it.
Well, so has the whole public. Like,
Well,
you know
yeah.
how long we've
Yes.
been waiting for this movie? Years
We've
and
all
years and
been
years
waiting.
and years. Is your favorite a girl or a dude?
A fancy lady.
Oh, fancy lady.
Let's talk about her.
Edna Mode.
Maud.
And friend. and friend. Oh, and guest.
Edna is everything.
She's a diva.
Edna should totally be a life coach. I'm just saying. She's out there like, you are going to walk out there, battle, and win.
Fight, win.
Pull yourself together.
She is everything that I wish I could be on the outside, just like that total.
Oh, well
Right.
then you're going to love what I have to say.
Okay, go ahead.
Because in college you were totally my Edna Mode.
Boom!
Like
Thank
Emily
you.
was my Edna
Call
Mode.
me when you're done, darling. I enjoy our talks.
She was my Edna Mode. She was
Thank
literally hitting me on the head with the newspaper. Pull yourself together.
I have
You want to
some-
know where he is?
She looked at me very
not about
suspiciously
you,
when she
but
said that.
let's
You
be
know
real.
what? I guess I was. That makes me very happy.
Yeah, there you go.
I just love it because
She's great.
just the little one-liners too. I mean, she has great full-on conversations and everything. But you know,
No
Bob is
capes.
like, "You're the best," and she's like, "Yes, I know, darling, I know."
darling.
Well, and you know the best part about all this is that Brad Bird voiced
Yes.
Edna.
He did?
He did.
I read that they were
That
having
is so
a
good.
hard time trying to cast her,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually Pixar was just like, well, sometimes we just have our directors do their own voices, so why don't you do it? And Brad Bird was like, okay, I guess I'll do it. And he
Yeah.
did a fantastic job.
Oh, I would have never have known that.
Right.
And it's so
Oh,
fantastic.
but nobody else can be Edna. Like, man, he did good.
He did a good Edna.
He is.
I love how she just made the whole family a bunch of super suits.
That's my favorite thing about her is that she's a fashion designer icon. She loves it for the fashion and the looks and the colors and the she's serving looks.
Fabulous.
But she's also like a brilliant tech designer.
Yes.
She's like, yes, this suit is fully bulletproof. It can stand temperatures up to 1,400 degrees, and you know it's
Oh,
for
by
your
the way,
baby.
I created a new fabric that can disappear.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
come on, Edna, what are you doing?
amazing.
That's one of my things where oh, now I wrote it down somewhere, but Elastigirl's like, oh, Jack doesn't have any powers, and she's like, oh no, well, he'll look fabulous anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Hilarious.
And then she calls Bob's suit a hobo suit.
Yes.
Like she made it, but she calls it a
That
hobo
was
suit.
15 years ago.
I don't look
Darling.
back from her. What did she say about
I never look back, darling. It distracts from the here and now.
I love that.
That's the only thing that I disagree with Edna about is that I like Bob's old suit more than the new red and credit suits.
Oh, the blue.
The blue.
Yes. Oh, the blue.
The blue
But I
black
think
suit
it's
is
because
great.
it's classic looking.
Yeah.
The red one makes him look top heavy. I mean,
Well,
He is top
I
heavy.
kind of
realize
is.
that he's top heavy, but like the blue was sleek.
Dude's
Yes.
got some little legs.
Yeah, he's got
When he starts like bench pressing or the trains, I'm like, no, you need to squat them.
Dude, one of the funniest things in this movie to me is the car scene where he's trying to get out of his tiny car, which really it's not tiny. It's a normal
Right.
size car.
But he's gigantic.
And he's trying to get out of that car, and he's like smushed in there, and he gets out,
So
and he
frustrated.
breaks he smushes the car, the door won't close, and then that kid is sitting there on the tricycle
The way that he picks it up and then sees the kid and puts it down.
very gently.
That poor
Gingerly.
I really feel for Mr. Incredible, and it's weird because I never felt like Elastigirl lost any of her spunk or any of her tenacity or any, like she never went through an identity crisis. But Mr. Incredible's over there being a little
Baby.
pansy, a little baby about it, which is going to be so interesting with the second movie when he's going to have to do the parenting. He's still going to be a little pansy baby.
Well, I mean, at least in the commercials that we've seen, like he's having a rough time.
Yes.
And it's
Why
funny
they changing
because
math, I don't know.
which is so funny that they're making it very relevant to
Oh,
now
yes.
with like Common Core and everything and parents having such a hard time. It's not just that he's a dad. No, he's
Right.
having an
He's a
actual
new
problem
dad.
with everything.
So funny.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about our last important character, Incrediboy.
Oh,
Syndrome.
I almost forgot.
Incredidrome.
Right, in Andre's notes.
He's not affiliated with me.
No. In his notes, it said something funny, which we might post these. If you become a Patreon, you might want to look at that.
Yeah, I'm going to start posting my my notes on our Patreon.
It says...
It doesn't sound interesting when he says it like
No,
that,
you
but I'm
gotta-
going to tell you. Michelle and I took the first 15 minutes before we started this, just scrolling and stopping anywhere in the document of his notes.
And reading it.
Reading the notes, and we were busting up. They're so funny because Andre's thoughts, his, what do you call that? His
Stream of consciousness.
stream of consciousness is hilarious.
It says Incrediboy got Incredibooted. I was dying.
Mr. Incredible's car is so cool. His Incredible car. It like transforms and it puts his suit on for him. It's dope. But
What does that have to do with Incrediboy?
because he got Incredibooted out of the Incredible car.
That's true, he did.
Syndrome is a cool character.
Here comes Luis.
I hated that little dude.
But do you hate
for
him
a villain,
because
is he
he's a
good?
villain? Like you're
no,
supposed
because
to?
he's annoying.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what I
that's
mean.
the
Off
point.
of me, you little fleet. Let me go do some superhero
He's a
stuff.
dynamic villain. No.
He's very
He's-
Are you
he's
freaking
doing a
kidding
lot.
me?
Right. He's
No.
also- okay. Listen.
No.
Listen. I'm
Whoa.
gonna explain why I like Incredible, the concept of Incrediboy.
Okay.
Because
For the story.
yes, for the
Okay.
story. So like sidekicks are a thing with superheroes, right? And like Batman, who has a ton of sidekicks, he's got a lot. You think it's just Robin, but there's been like 5 Robins at least. And one of those,
The heck, does he clone them and just like line them
they
up?
just keep popping out of the woodwork, man. One of the Robins, in order to become Robin, like before he was pre-Robin, he booted the wheels off of the Batmobile. Like he found the Batmobile, was like cloaked in an alleyway. He like took the wheels off and was like, "See, Batman, I figured you out. I know exactly who you are." And he figured out that he was like Bruce Wayne and stuff like that. And Batman was like, "Oh, geez, I guess I better make you my sidekick now just to shut you up." So like, the fact that Incrediboy, he comes in, he's got a lot of confidence, a lot of bravado. He's made his own outfit and stuff already.
And it's actually pretty cute.
He's invented some good tech. He's got like flying boots and stuff like that. I really like that, and I think that if Mr. Incredible had given him some like real advice rather than just trying to send him on his way, he would not have become the villain that he becomes.
Most definitely not. He would have. He was his biggest fan,
Yeah.
and in a good way. He just obviously had an unstable home life, and then
Right.
wasn't able to fixate positively.
Yeah,
And he had no friends at school,
yeah,
so
he
poor
got into
syndrome.
some toxic stuff after he was Incredibooted.
After he was Incredibooted. Oh man, he. It's funny because I didn't know what Brad Bird looked like, and then I was looking up some fun
Does
facts.
he look like a bird?
See, well, I was looking up some pictures, and apparently the
I don't know what he
animators.
looks like either.
Well, I'll show you a picture right now. The animators modeled Syndrome after him.
Oh, okay.
And
that
he
makes
didn't
sense.
realize it until it was like too late. And
Oh
when you look
my
at this picture,
gosh.
he very much looks like it.
Wow.
And apparently,
They got the same pasty skin.
and apparently, like he went on record later saying, like, had I known that that's what they were drawing him like, I would have like kiboshed it.
Right.
But it was too far along, and everyone was having like a good laugh. He was like, "Fine, you can have this like annoying character be me," which is really funny.
It's funny because Syndrome is annoying and he looks funny. Like they try to make him comical, you know.
Well, same thing
But
with Edna
he's
Mode. Look at this picture. And I'll post all of these. But Edna Mode is based off of the Disney studio costume designer Edith Head. And legitimately, you ready for this? You're going to die.
Amazing.
Oh.
It's dead on.
Like, dead on. So
Wow.
both of them are more characterized, like
Yeah.
like a bigger personality-wise, but they very much are based
Right.
off of these real people, which is hilarious.
Interesting.
Awesome.
But there's something about Syndrome, like he's a pretty good villain, and I just want to know, where were his parents?
Maybe he didn't
This
have
is
any.
what happens, why you turned out like
Goob.
this.
Yagubian.
Yes.
This is Nagagoobian.
He was
He got
Yagubian.
goobed.
He's just smarter and got more sleep than Yagubian.
I guess.
Here's a question. Did Edna Mode create Syndrome's costume?
No.
Because I
Syndrome
like
create.
it a lot. It's
What?
very- I like Syndrome's outfit.
It has a cape.
It has a cape. Aside from the no
She
capes
didn't-
rule,
she didn't make it.
She didn't make it. That's
He
why.
makes all his own stuff.
He does make all of his own stuff.
But how
I,
did
he
I
get
really love how
access
the
to all of
S
it?
is across his entire body.
That
Oh,
is
yeah.
cool.
That's really cool.
But then I do have to ask, since he makes all of his tech and everything, like, is he comparable to Batman? In your
yeah,
opinion?
I'm wondering where he gets all his.
That's what I want to know.
Funding from.
Where did he get?
His funding. I think he just had gotten so scarred from his childhood, but he just took it a completely different way than Gooby, and he was like, "I'm gonna be a villain, but like I'm gonna make some
Yeah, but
money,
where'd he
I bet
get
he
some
I bet he
tech, buy
invented
an
some
island."
stuff and then sold it.
His
'Cause
girlfriend might have a lot of money. I don't know.
He mentioned
Mirage?
at one point that like I save some of the good stuff for myself, even though I sell weapons and stuff.
Oh yeah, he did say he sells.
So
weapons.
I think he sells weapons, and that's where he gets
So he's Tony Stark.
his money.
Yeah, so he's Tony Stark and Batman, and he has Mirage as a girlfriend. I mean, Mirage is pretty. He's doing pretty good.
He doesn't treat her right.
Is she his girlfriend?
Yeah.
I don't know
Kind
if
of.
they're. No, I don't think so.
I think he wants to think.
Nah, that guy's straight up scared of girls, man.
Well,
there's no.
There's probably that, but
But
like,
he was like, honey, you know, when he was like Crusher to Incredible, and then she was mad at him after. They're both attracted to power. I don't know. I just assumed that they were a thing. But maybe
yeah.
not.
Maybe it's just like a flirtatious office thing. I don't know.
I don't know.
Awkward inner office
Syndrome's
relations.
got some
Right.
cool tech, though. That thing he has where he can,
0
like...
point energy.
Yeah, that's cool.
Where he just like freezes stuff and can move it around wherever he wants.
One of the
Awesome.
best scenes, and it's funny because I feel like that was a real, it's a crack in the vault type conversation,
Yeah.
but he's like,
This movie's pushing that PG.
yeah.
It's bigger. Is it that part? It's better.
Oh no.
Oh.
When he's like, "Oh, you married Elastigirl," and then he
Oh.
looks at the kids and he's like, "And
got busy.
That, see, I think the part where he...
because as a kid you're like,
Hilarious.
me,
I
right?
remember laughing at that as a kid.
I laughed at it as a kid. It's hilarious.
Well,
But
I don't
it's-
think I got it.
It's funnier now.
Oh, it's quite hilarious because he's like, "Ha ha, I see you," and then
my-
later on when he
okay.
says like the BS comment about
Yeah.
his about his
Yeah.
what do you call it? His S on his
On his
outfit.
chest.
He's like, "Yeah, I could have used my initials, but then that would have been BS, and you can't have that on a
Yeah.
suit."
Mhm.
That's hilarious.
Hilarious. He does make good comments. I think my favorite thing is just when you first see him, when he's been like, "It's bigger, it's better." It's something about when he's introducing his robot, and
Yeah. The Omnidroid.
he gets very like PT Flea right there, he's just
Yes.
introducing stuff.
Yeah.
And then my other favorite part is when he has Mr. Incredible in the 0 point energy, and he's throwing him around, and he's like, "My name is Syndrome, your nemesis," and then he accidentally like lets
tosses him.
tosses him all the way back. Friggin' idiot.
He's very Groot like in
Yes.
that scene where Groot like picks up people with his
Little branch.
with
Oh,
his
his
branch
branch.
and then like
Yeah.
throws them around. That's what it reminds me
Oh
of.
yeah, totally. I love Syndrome though.
He has another one
He's
of those-
actually a good villain. Like he's just a comical. I like him a lot.
Yeah, he has another one of those like very good deconstructing superhero lines where he's like, you got me monologuing. I can't believe it.
Oh
I
gosh.
did a good old supervillain and just started talking about my evil plan for a long time.
Which is
I dig it.
hilarious.
Like a dum-dum.
I appreciate it because
So,
it always happens.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now that I know we're going to get into our Easter eggies, which it looks like you have written down a million there, I did hear
maybe.
A113 twice.
It is in there twice.
Yes. That's all
Very
I saw,
good.
though.
They
Very
named
good.
it as like one of the conference rooms when he first shows up
Yes.
to the island.
And it's where they're keeping him. He's like in section A1, room 13,
Mm-hmm.
when he's in those thingies where he's trapped in.
Exactly. Those
Yes,
are
I
the-
got it.
Very good.
Nailed it.
Those are the two A113 references. It's funny though because there is no pizza truck.
No
There's
pizza truck?
Pizza Planet truck, or at least
Interesting.
that no one has seen.
It's not
sa-
in this universe.
Yeah, and it's funny because apparently Brad Bird was asked about it, like, is there a Pizza Planet truck?
Where the truck at?
Where exactly, truck. And he was like, oh, I didn't ask them. I didn't ask the animators to put it in, and they were like, that's it.
But bro,
But
the truck.
Oops.
Brad Bird was like an outside director. Like most of the directors of Pixar movies before this had all been like working at Pixar since the beginning. But Brad Bird, he had worked with John Lasseter in college. He went to school with him in college and just met back up with him after The Iron Giant to direct this movie.
Oh, interesting.
And
so it's
Ratatouille.
and I think that's why some of the references are like intentionally done by probably the animators, even though it might not have been like expressly put in there by
Yeah.
him. So like one of the ones that's pretty cool is Luxo. The Luxo ball that we know is referenced in the movie. and it's when Mr. Incredible is in his car and he's trying to listen to the police radio.
Yeah.
He's sitting outside a deli, and it's called the Luxo Deli. So instead of it being like the Luxo ball, it's not like actual ball sitting there, but it's referencing that. Like you said, A113's in there twice, but a lot of the other references are more references to other things than Pixar things,
like superhero
exactly.
type stuff.
Yeah. So like or people in real life. So we talked about the Brad Burton syndrome. We talked about Edna Mode. Apparently Jack is nicknamed after one of Brad Bird's sons.
Oh,
okay.
Whose name is Jack, I think. This one is to a movie. Frozone, who is, like we said, voiced by Samuel L. Jackson. When he's in the interaction with the cops and he's like, I'm just getting a drink. That's a reference to one of the Die Hard movies. And Samuel L. Jackson plays the character in that movie too, and he does the same interaction. So that's supposed to be similar.
Does he? Or are you thinking about?
I'm trying to remember too.
No, I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Unless
Sam.
he was a villain. Was Samuel L. Jackson supposed to be the main guy, along with what's his name?
Baldhead.
Braveheart.
He's in Die Hard with a Vengeance. He plays.
Must have been a villain. Or
McClane's reluctant partner, Zeus Carver. So he's his partner. I don't know if he's a bad guy. I don't think I ever saw Die Hard with a Vengeance.
The other guy.
Mel Gibson.
That's
no, you're thinking about a totally different movie. I'm talking about the other Baldhead.
Bruce Willis.
Yeah, Baldhead.
Yeah, Bruce Willis. He's Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Yeah,
so which one am
bald
I
head.
thinking of?
I don't know. Andre doesn't have a bald head right now, so you're not thinking of him.
With Mel Gibson.
Yeah, that's
and not Danny Glover.
Yeah, Danny Glover.
Yeah. Which one's that one?
I feel so stupid. Lethal Weapon.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. You're absolutely right. I confused both of them.
Die Hard.
You want to know
Lethal
something
Weapon.
else funny about Frozone?
Action movie.
Sorry, Ems.
No, that's okay.
This isn't like a reference or anything, but if you've ever seen the meme, I'm laughing.
Are you already laughing? What?
Okay, think about the Frozen like poster where it's like Elsa and she's standing in her stance with like one arm in the air like this. You know, I know you can't see what I'm doing, listeners, but
there's snow up in the arm.
If you Pinterest or Google whatever Frozone as Frozen, it's like him in his blue suit as a dress, and he's like doing the thingy, and it says Frozone instead of Frozen. It's really funny.
That's hilarious. Let's see. There is another one, and this one is reference to other DC characters, which is really funny. The jet that Mr. Incredible takes off to the island originally, it apparently was supposed to be a reference to the Black
Manta
from
Aquaman.
Yes,
Aha.
the enemy of Aquaman in the DC universe.
It does look like a manta ray, like the way.
Yeah,
that
so
the
it has
ship
like
is
a
shaped.
manta ray-ish look to it. Other DC references include the danger sign in Bob Parr's cubicle. It has Captain Marvel's lightning bolt with inverted colors.
Oh.
The triangle emblem on Mr. Incredible's new car resembles the Golden Age Superman symbol.
Okay.
And Gazer Beam references to Cyclops in X-Men and Daredevil. Yeah. So there's all kinds of good stuff. So if you're like Andre, who knows all kinds of other lovely things, you might have caught some of those. But it's really interesting that he was able to put all those in, or at least he did some good research and was able to put those in. And I like that they're DC references. I know this is way pre-Marvel buying into our, Disney buying in. But it's cool that we have like DC Universe stuff in here too. Mm-hmm. It gives it a little bit extra dimension, I would say.
I like it for that. Agreed. Is there any other Easter eggs? Eggy Easters?
Was that not enough?
No.
But I have a fun fact.
Oh, hit us with it.
This is one of the first. This was the first Pixar movie to have primarily human characters,
right?
Which is pretty cool because all of them were bugs or
toys
or
bugs or toys. Was cars before this? No, I don't think so.
I don't know. Other
monsters,
not human things.
Yeah.
It's the first film in the Pixar repertoire to start up right where the last one left off as a sequel.
Oh, right.
So the other movies would come like a year later or 2 years later, a couple months later. This one is like, boom, what is he called? The mole?
The Underminer.
The Underminer is literally...
The Underminer!
Is popping up, and they're starting there. And this was the first PG, like we talked about, pushing the PG rating Pixar movie. So it's some cool
all those syndrome quotes.
But it's really interesting, and this is something that I was like, wow. You can tell they put the attention to detail. The movie features 35 explosions, 189 buttons being pressed. I don't know who counted
my
this.
gosh.
And 640-ish gunshots.
Wow.
I mean, that's PG for you.
Yeah, so they took it to a whole new level, and I think that's really cool.
6 confirmed kills.
And 6 confirmed kills.
And I really like the fact that they kept it all very realistic throughout the entire movie. Like, I remember growing up watching cartoons, like the Spider-Man 90s cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think he was allowed to like punch anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And the cops and bad guys in that show, they didn't shoot regular guns. They shot like laser guns because they didn't want to have like bullets shown in front of kids and stuff like that. But this movie, it presents it all very realistically. Like, these bad guys will not hesitate to kill you. Straight up.
Totally. And I think
Which
that
I love that.
Another way that I think they made it really realistic is apparently this movie had 4 times more scenery places that they traveled to, so different locations than other movies. If you think about it, like Bug's Life, for example, they're in the tree area, they're on the island, they leave to go to the city,
circus. Yep.
They come back, they make you go to the hat where the mosquitoes are at, and then they come back. Like, that's 4 places. Yeah. Here in The Incredibles, he's at work, he's downtown, they're at home, they go to the island multiple times. There's all these different places that they go to, which makes it more realistic that they're not just in one tiny locale.
Battle of New York.
Battle of...
They're in New York, right?
They are in a made-up city called Metroville.
Oh, that's right.
Which is supposed to be a mix between, like, Metropolis. And Smallville from Superman.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Luis. Ba-da-ba-ba-da. That's our new battle song.
Bum, 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 battle!
Stop. That's actually a very good opening to Luis's battle.
Dun, 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 dun,
battle.
Dun, 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 dun,
battle, battle.
Dun.
All right, for this week on the superheroes topic.
Yeah.
We have a family full of supers, each with their own unique power. If you could assume one of their personas along with their power, which would it be and why?
Oh, man.
Battle it out.
This is hard, and the reason I'm going to say this is hard, we don't have to take Jack Jack out of the equation. The only thing is that we don't know the full complexity of what Jack Jack can do.
No, we don't.
Which is kind of what I'm most excited about for the next movie to see. Like, that's what I'm most excited about. Like, let's see some Jack Jack. We only got a glimpse into what he can do. So I got to take him out of the equation for me just because I don't know. He's a shapeshifter.
He's all kinds of things.
Demon?
Yeah, he's a
he shapeshifted into that.
He's definitely he's a shapeshifter at its core. He can turn into a monster or fire or metal, or he can just shake real hard, or what was that other thing he could do?
Just a lot.
He can do a lot of stuff.
I think beams out of his eyes.
He can like disappear and stuff.
I was gonna say, is that his? No, because that's not really. He's not a shapeshifter because he does more than just shapeshift.
I think since we don't know the full scope of his powers, I would say right now that his power is like bending reality to its will, or bending himself within reality. You know, like he can change himself into whatever. He can do anything within himself. Like, I don't know that he can necessarily like
control
change another person into
I don't know if
hunk
he can
of metal or whatever, but he can definitely do it to himself.
Right.
We've seen him turn into that little demon thing, but I don't think he could like turn himself into a cat. I don't think. I think he turns into that and then lots of elemental things, and then he can disappear. But then laser beams come out of his eyes, so I don't know.
At the end of the movie, you see it. A little taste of what he has.
No, that's what we're talking about.
That's where I'm saying, like, I don't know the full complexity of him.
Right.
But if we're going off of the 4, like Mr. Incredible.
Oh, I do. Let me throw something in there. I did read, though, about him that he does like 4 transformations or something.
Yeah.
And Brad Bird really wanted 5, apparently, because he wanted him to turn into goo.
Oh,
and so that he was just some kind of like splattered goo on the floor, so that he might be able to turn into a cat.
Yeah.
But apparently, like that would have like caused the animators to take like 2 more months in animating the whole goo scene that he didn't get his
that.
goo, and he was like really upset about it.
because we see him.
I want my goo.
Exactly.
We see him do that shaky thingy, and he gets really mad and turns into a demon. He turns into metal. He turns into fire.
Mm-hmm.
And then
And the laser beams.
Yes,
laser beams. Yeah,
But
so 4 things.
But there's also like that short that came with The Incredibles. I don't know if it was on the DVD or if it was the short before the movie when it came out in theaters. But it's like him being watched by Kari, and in that he has more powers.
I think it was an end credit scene thing.
Yeah, it might have been one of those. But in that he has even more powers. Like at one point he's just like floating through the air.
Yeah.
And he teleports.
I think he turns
away
into like
from
bubbles.
Her.
He can disappear.
I think he was like reading her mind at one point too. She was like showing him flashcards and stuff, and he was like picking up blocks to match the flashcards. And then he has the laser eyes.
Gosh, he can do any.
And
I
remember something with bubbles too. I think.
I think for the purpose of this question, though, let's save him till the next movie. I don't know.
Yes. So the question was
super strength.
If I could choose one of the power sets, I also
And
have to
you
take
on their
the
persona.
personality, the persona.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're picking your favorite one. Like which one would you become if you could?
Because it's hard because I love the persona of Elastigirl, but I would rather have Dash's speedster power.
Right.
But I gotta pick one.
Like I kind of agree with that too. Man, they're all really good.
And the force field thing is super cool too.
Yeah, she can turn invisible as well.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Violet because the force field thing is really cool. I could like protect myself from anything, and she had kind of a lot of character development in the story, and I think in the next movie she's gonna be pretty BA. I just have a feeling, like I think she's gonna get her moment in the nose, so I'm gonna go with Violet.
She's gonna shine. I think I'm gonna go with Elastigirl actually, because she's like the most headstrong of the entire family, and her power is really cool. Like I think that's gonna make reaching for the remote pretty easy. And,
oh my god!
And I can fit into any clothes that I want and stuff like that. What else can I do with some
Your hips
stretchy
don't
powers?
lie.
My hips don't lie.
Be looking like Mewtwo.
Well, and it's funny too because I feel like every time you see a meme or picture of Elastigirl, she's assumed one or the other areas in the movie where she's either the parachute,
Yes,
which is super
very
dope,
cool.
or when she's the boat.
Yes.
So
She's shapeshifty too.
like she can assume so many shapes, and so that makes
Very
her
useful.
very useful.
She could literally just turn to a ball and just roll away.
She gets
yeah.
flat. If you think about the car coming through the tunnel, she just flattened herself
against the wall. Yeah.
completely. Didn't hurt her. She had no scratches.
I really loved that scene when she was sneaking into the facility, especially in comparison to how Bob was sneaking into the facility and how like he does it very well, but he kind of like bum rushes it and makes kind of a mess, and she just does it with much more finesse.
Well, and the kids
than he
too.
does. Yeah.
Like they're all very different, and you see their personalities show very much through the way they do it.
Bob is still a better sneaker than squeaky squeaking dude Kronk.
Squeaky squeak.
So are you going with Elastigirl? Is that your choice?
No.
Oh,
No. Andre did.
I chose Elastigirl.
Oh,
yes.
I'm going to go with Violet too. I think that even though my personality is very different than Violet, I agree with you. I think that she's going to come into her own as a teenager. I think that's just part of her age.
Yeah.
But the whole
She's gonna get
protection
stronger.
thing is very cool, and I like that she can move it now. She knows how to move the force field.
I think it's going to come in handy, dude. And now that we've seen Black Panther and kind of how their whole city is under a force field type thing, I'm like, what if she could get that strong? Like she could just force field like a whole city. You don't know, man. I think she's going to get strong.
Well, and I think it's cool too because I think of myself, and if I really was in a like. If I was a superhero, I wouldn't be the one fighting, really. I would be like, with a gun. I know that's not PG, but I would either be far away. I wouldn't be doing tactical, like, up close, hand-to-hand
Emily
combat.
the sniper.
Sharpshooter.
Yeah, I would be sniping or I would be protecting
Yeah.
because I just wouldn't be all up in the mix like that.
Emily and I would be getting the civilians out of danger with our force fields.
Yeah, for sure.
So Violet, she has the same powers as the Invisible Woman from the Fantastic Four, and she is one of most powerful characters in the Marvel universe.
Oh.
Her force fields are extremely powerful. They almost never get broken. She can also like create them as small or big as she wants. So if she wanted to, she could just put a tiny little force field in your air pipe and you just suffocate and die. Yes,
That's
so
pretty.
She can do all kinds of stuff like that, and then she can turn herself invisible, but she can also turn others invisible as well. She can like bend the light around.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about
other
that.
people.
Violet can turn invisible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty
She's,
cool.
Yeah, I'm going with Violet. Luis.
Is there
2
even a
votes
question
for Violet,
for
1
Louis?
for
I
Elastigirl.
feel like I know what Luis is going to pick.
He wants
Dash.
To be, yeah, little speedster.
And you know what
obsessed.
Luis would be called? The Stash.
Stash.
Oh.
So yeah, the
Dash.
the Dash.
You know what? Yeah, I just realized.
I don't care what kind of personality he has. He's fast. End of story.
He's fast.
It's funny
Yeah.
because his name matches his power, but I don't think they knew when he was a baby. It's funny because his name matches his power, but I don't think when he was a baby they knew that he was going to be fast.
Well, because his name isn't it like...
Dashel.
It's Dashel. Dashel Robert Parr.
Oh, Lord.
Well, yeah, Dash sounds
Dashel is
better.
not a great name. I just realized that Violet and Dash, they don't have superhero names. That's just
They're just names.
they're given
They're
names.
just their names. Jack.
I'm okay with
I
that.
wonder if they'll get some superhero names.
Elastigirl.
You know, it's funny, too, because I didn't realize it until this viewing, but... And like I said, me and Violet are not similar at all. But the one line that she said when she was talking back to her mom was 100% me as a teenager. And so the mom is Elastigirl's like, wait a minute, you left Jack alone? And she goes, yes, Mom, I'm completely stupid. And in
of course
that
I got a babysitter.
in that moment, I still do this, you guys. Like, my grandma, like when I was first going to have the baby, she's like, Emily, you need to wash all the clothes before you put them on the baby. And I was like, no, Grandma, I'm just going to put her in these clothes that every other kid has touched in the store. Like, stop telling me what to do. Yeah, I know. I'm 26 years old. I need to. Oh, how old am
So
I?
funny.
27. I need to. Thank you, Andre.
Oh.
I need to get over it, right? But oh no, she had my heart in that moment because I feel her. Yes, I'm
They think
completely
you're
stupid.
They think you're the babysitter with the braces. That's what they think.
She's kind of stupid.
Kari.
though.
Yeah, she is.
Kari.
Oh god.
Kari's very nice. I think under the circumstances she seems stupid, but she did a pretty good job.
It's not her fault. She
keeping
had
a
this.
superhero baby alive.
Oh, that's the worst. That's my worst fear. You want to know why I'm never a babysitter? Right there.
It's, I like the kid on the bike, baby. This is totally wicked.
And I feel bad for him too because he saw that one thing, and he went home and told his mom or his
Yeah.
brothers, and
and they're like,
you're
This kid and
ridiculous.
his imagination.
Dude, pick up a little car. Imagine with a little squeaky voice. Maybe he's gonna become Incrediboy. I don't know.
He's gonna want to be BFFs with Dash. He's
Right.
gonna be like,
Oh my gosh,
Tell me
what if they're
everything.
friends?
That would be funny.
I can't wait.
he needs to be in the next movie.
Yeah, I hope.
And that's kind of where I wanted to go. So now that we've talked about this movie, I was gonna pose the question: what are you most looking forward to for Incredibles 2? But I think we kind of answered that talking about Jack's powers. But like besides that, what are you looking forward to, Andre?
Just about everything. I mean, I want to I want to see everything. I'm very much looking forward to Jack's powers. That's true too. But I think I'm most excited to see Elastigirl shining as a superhero in her own right. Like the fact that she was so prepared to continue being a superhero for a long time, even though she was getting married to Bob, but then the superhero registration came in and kind of like took that all away from her.
The Sokovia Accord.
Sokovia
Yeah,
Accord.
the Sokovia Accords.
And so she had to, super mom it for a while. I'm very excited to see her kick butt through the entire town.
And Pixar's kind of doing, Disney in general has been kind of doing these role reversal things lately, taking it back to Luis's favorite Frozen. If you think about it, that kind of brought the I don't need no prince, like my sister was going to save me. And now we're kind of going to do this role reversal that like, ooh, the dad's
Or at least trying to make it more
Yes.
mainstream.
the dad is now going to be the one staying at home while mommy goes out and kicks butt.
That's what I'm most
Kicking
excited
butt.
about is watching Bob be a totally helpless dad.
Yeah.
because it's so funny because even though his kids are not, well, Jack is small and in the respect what he's having to deal with is absolutely unreal, like because he's shape-shifting and everything. But I can't wait to laugh it up because being a first-time parent and watching Luis go through first-time dadhood is very different than first-time momhood. And like freaking out when like Addie had a hair in her eye. Like I can't imagine what poor Bob is going through with like his kid disappearing.
I'm really excited, and I think we all four need to watch this one together just because I'm excited to see what you guys are going to do because you guys are new parents.
Yeah.
And this movie's going to be about parenting. It's going to have parenting in it.
Oh, yeah.
So that's going to be exciting.
It's going to be quite hilarious. I can't wait.
I'm with you there. I think I'm excited to see, I don't know how much older the kids are going to be because it really does take place right after.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
So it's
but
technically 3 months from the end
I'm really excited to see not only Jack's powers, but just more of all of their powers.
Yeah, development.
Like, I want to see them grow. Like, I'm excited about that. But then I'm also ready for Bob to just to be living life. Yeah. It's gonna be great
with this 12 o'clock shadow. It's not even it's
giant
past.
bags under his eyes.
Yeah.
He looks awful.
Oh my gosh,
sleepy dad.
That's hilarious.
Sleepy paw.
Louis, what's your favorite or not
what
your favorite? What are you looking forward to?
I won't lie. At first, nothing, but I do want to see when you brought it up. I want to see Elastigirl. You know, kick butt. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Only because I think out of all of them, she has the sound mind to be a superhero.
Right.
I mean, Dad was just wanting to be...
He's like addicted to it.
Yeah, he is very much addicted to it, but he's just like... He has no finesse. And you mentioned that because of the break-in scene in the island that she had the most finesse.
Yeah.
And I would say that's probably the only thing I'm looking forward to. I won't lie to you. The whole Jack superpower thing, I could care less for.
Okay.
Oh.
Just because, I don't know.
He's a baby. What's he going to do?
Yeah, it's a little bit overrated.
Oh, baby's going to do the most.
Well, I think the idea of the weakest one being the most strongest one of all is kind of overrated.
You don't know that. We'll see.
We'll see.
I agree with you with the Elastigirl thing. I think of her very comparable to Black Widow. Like, they have this mindset. Like, even when she didn't have her stuff together, she still did. Like, I think, like, she never lost her finesse for a moment.
Bob had to work out for months to get into shape to become a superhero again. Helen, she was like, oh, we're being superheroes right now? All right, I guess I'll just jump back into it and be great.
Oh, exactly.
Back in the game.
Well, and it's funny, too, because if you think about it, she, like, old-time crime fighting didn't really have a whole bunch of, like, espionage and the finesse that you guys are talking about. So when Bob was in his young years fighting it up, he could be loud, he could be kind of obnoxious, be the you shouldn't be doing that, bad guy, right? And Elastigirl had that ability to be quiet and like sneak around and everything, and that's what today's villains are calling for, you know, in our more modern times. So I think it works that she's on top of the fact that we're in like the women's second rights movement right now. So it's really interesting that she's taking the front running position. It'll be interesting.
He's either in trouble or he's gonna be. I was like,
truth,
girl,
truth.
Money.
Money. This movie made a bunch of money.
And didn't it come in like well under budget?
I believe so.
Which is really cool because you wouldn't expect that with how much they did with this movie.
Like it was I believe a 4 or 5 year production
with 190 button presses.
Yes. So many button presses and gunshots. But it came in at a budget of $92 million, which for a CG animated movie is pretty good. And it ended up making a cumulative worldwide gross of $631 million.
Boom.
Whoa.
That
Boom.
is over
Boom.
$500 million.
That's
So
crazy.
it was very well received. It won 2 Oscars. It won for Best Achievement in Sound Editing and Best Animated Feature Film of the Year.
Boom and boom.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
I dig it.
I mean, Andre and I just bought incredible shirts, so we're still contributing to this budget money they're making. Now with Pixar Pier opening and Incredicoaster, we make them even more bank. It's gonna be great.
That is very true.
It's gonna be great.
Take
Andre-
my money.
I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast, but I feel like me and Andre have had this conversation multiple times about what we want the tube at the beginning of the Incredicoaster to be like.
Yes.
We were like either or both.
Uh-huh.
We want Dash running
running,
up
yes.
with you or Frozone skating up with you.
Well,
Right? I need some projections in my life, or
Yes.
just like a really cool like some kind of effect where they're going up the
The
tube with you.
rumor is that Dash is definitely running through one of the tunnels, I believe, and in the other tunnel, I think it's literally supposed to be Elastigirl. You know how she can make herself into a chute?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she is the tunnel?
I think she is the tunnel. That's what I think.
I'm about it.
That's
very
my
cool.
prediction.
I'm about it.
That's
But
very
I think Dash. I'm gonna go with Dash running through one, and then the other one is.
But it was
is Elastigirl.
it was funny because the last time we were there, Andre and I were standing underneath it because we were waiting for Toy Story. And we were standing up and we were just standing. I think you were in the bathroom or something. We were
Yeah,
just
I was.
staring at it. And we're like, yeah, he needs to be running up this and over there, yeah.
I'm actually
Frozone
more
action over
excited. If you think about the, oh gosh, what was it called before the roller coaster? California Screaming.
Screaming.
Yeah.
If you think about the music on it, I had that whole music sequence and the countdown and everything memorized. So I'm really interested. Is it going to play that ba-da, like while I'm on the ride?
For sure.
I don't know. Are they going to be talking? They're going to be like, whoa, watch out. Like, I don't know.
For sure.
That's what
Yes.
I'm excited about.
And it's
Into
so
it.
fun when they re-theme rides sometimes, even though I know everyone gets upset.
I'm
But it's
not
so
upset.
cool because you get, even though it's the same thing with like Tower of Terror into
Yeah.
Guardians, you feel so new, even though there's still elements of the old rides, so
Right.
that you feel it's nostalgia, but it's also exciting. And or even when they redo like Space Mountain for
Yeah. Hyperspace.
Hyperspace,
Ghost
Hyperspace.
Ghost Galaxy. Hyperspace.
Hyperspace.
It's so
Hyperspace.
cool.
I love
It's
Hyperspace. Mountain.
Hyperspace.
And I love Ghost Galaxy. I love both of those things. Oh, it's going to be
Don't
great.
get me on Ghost Galaxy, you guys.
And don't even trip about it. We'll visit Edna Mode for you, Emily. Don't worry.
What does that mean?
Like, you can see her in the parks.
Oh, the
like, she's a
character.
character now. Yeah, you got to get your booty to Disney. Because you can meet Edna Mode.
Edna Mode.
Mode.
I'll tell you though,
Edna
I'm going to be honest with you.
Mode.
Pretty much anytime they make animated humans into like plush humans,
Right.
it freaks me
It's
out.
weird.
So I don't know if I'll love
Oh,
that.
no.
I don't like it when they do that.
Even the Incredibles characters that have been there now,
They're good.
their heads are large.
They are, but Andre and I have the best picture with them.
We
It's,
do have
it's
and
good
like
us
Buzz
two.
Lightyear's face, like I know he's not supposed to be a human, but it's
Yeah.
kind of creepy. Like it,
Right.
you want to make a bug into a thing, it's
Character.
perfectly fine. But
We'll post
caramba.
that picture for you. That's like one of our best pictures. The very, very first Disneyland trip we went to together, we walked into California Adventure and we went to Hollywoodland and we got a picture of all of us doing a superhero stance. And it's Andre next to Frozone and then me next to Elastigirl and then Mr. Incredible's on the other side of
And you know who looks
Elastigirl.
best? Frozone, because he has his glasses on, and then he doesn't look like a fake weirdo.
No, I look best.
His head's kind of big.
Okay,
too.
I'm talking about the characters,
I
not
know.
you.
All right, let's rate. I think you can go last, Andre.
Yes, I will say though that this movie has a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's a good rotten score.
That's a pretty good
Unrotten score.
Certified fresh.
The certifiediest.
Luis, do you want to give your rating?
8.5.
8.5.
No explanation.
From Luis.
Actually, there is an explanation. It's an 8.5 because I kind of... I don't want to say it's because I hate the
Syndrome.
but
Okay.
he really annoyed the heck out of
Oh,
me.
there's always someone that annoys
Yeah,
Luis.
so that's
At least it was the bad guy this time.
Yeah, but I did appreciate...
That's true.
I'm trying to find a good guy that I...
The
no.
babysitter.
No, the babysitter was actually rocking it. You know, she handled it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She
was playing Mozart for the baby.
Yeah,
and stuff.
she must have called like 20 million times,
Yeah.
but you know what? She handled it. Yeah, I did like her, but yeah,
Mrs. Parr.
8.5 only because I dislike that guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez. Okay. Fair enough.
Which is funny because we totally like skated over that great scene where Mrs. Incredible is like picking up the phone and listening to all the voicemails. So funny. Each one is more and more frantic. And then she finally is like, everything is okay. And you know it's because everything is so not
Not
okay.
okay.
So not
Beautiful.
okay.
Okay, I'm going to say 9.
9.
Good. Very good. I enjoy it. I don't.
Oh no.
I don't like.
What?
She's just playing with her hair.
I don't know.
You
I
don't-
like the movie.
you
I like
don't
it
like
all.
what?
Stop looking at my hair now because everyone's looking at my hair now. I don't like the mole.
The Underminer.
Yeah, I don't like. No,
I don't. I think he's gonna be like a minor villain. Like,
Better
I
be.
think they're gonna
I can't.
dispatch with him relatively quickly in the
Good.
in the
I
next
can't.
movie.
I feel like it took like a bad turn right at the end. I'm sorry, it was really good, and then it was like.
Because he's like a crazy villain.
But that
where
scene
everything
where he
else has
just like
been,
opens the shirt at the end and it says "I" for incredible. That's great.
They're
So it
all
takes a
putting on
great
their
turn
masks.
at the end.
No.
But the Underminer.
The mole.
I don't
Emily
like
just
it.
doesn't like moles.
I don't like moles on people. I don't like moles in the ground.
The Underminer is kind of fashioned after a Fantastic Four villain, the Mole Man, who
Ew.
who lives underground and has an army of mole people. And
Disgusting.
Is he the
comes up to-
penguin?
Do you
Sounds like
remember?
the penguin.
Do you remember the
Similar.
moles that we talked? The mole that we talked about in Treasure Water Planet
Oh yeah, Mr. Mole.
Atlantis.
Oh yeah,
Ew.
yeah, he's like that dude. Mhm,
Ew.
exactly.
I said ew. Then I say ew. Now,
She
by
say
golly.
ew.
Okay.
Okay, I'm
I said
gonna
9.
give this movie.
Ba-dum, bum, ba-dum. Oh my God! Say it.
A 10.
10.
A 10.
Ding ding ding.
No, a 9.5.
9.5.
A 9.5 only because I felt it was a little bit too long.
It comes in at around
It is the
an hour
longest.
and 55 minutes.
A little bit too long. Other than that, it is practically perfect for me.
It is
9.5.
long.
That's true.
Because we have to have a lot of midlife crisis.
Yes.
And I think that's where it draws it out for me is the midlife crisis. There's like one scene too many there.
It's just a tad too long. Like I said, an hour 30 is like golden. There's
Yeah.
just if you're going over that, it's got to be like Civil War. You know what I mean? Like it's got to be real intense. I got to be real engaged. 9.5. This movie is just so great. All right, Andre.
10. This is my favorite Pixar movie. It's one
I didn't
of
know that.
the greatest movies of all time.
Oh my God, stop.
It feels like a perfect movie to me. I was literally going through watching it this time trying to find like a flaw in it at all, and the only thing that I came up with was that like depending on how you interpret her, Edna Mode could like kind of be considered like a weird like Asian stereotype, even though I'm not sure if
Isn't she French?
That's the thing, is that she's so ambiguous that I'm not even sure if,
I have no
if it
idea
is.
what she's supposed to.
Exactly. It's very ambiguous, so that's not even like a real
The only thing I think is a
flaw
little
that I
weird
have
is
with
Jack's head. Like his hair, he's oddly shaped.
I mean, he's a baby.
Yeah.
He's like a potato, like
Yeah.
most babies.
He's got like a he's got like a Hey Arnold head.
Oh, Andre, love this movie.
Yeah, love this
Don't
movie.
tickle me, Louise.
It's the
Well,
Sorry. I get very angry when people try to tickle me.
it's the best. I love it forever. Incredibles 2 better be good, or I'm gonna be a sad boy.
Sad boy.
Sad
yeah.
boy.
I'm so excited for Incredibles 2. But next week we're gonna watch something I can't decide if I'm excited for or not. Right?
I don't know. I don't remember what
Is
it
Is
is.
it vroom vroom beep beep?
is
Life is
it-
a highway.
Vida Sense Calle. Yo
Desde
manejo.
tu calle.
Yo manejo.
I think it is
toda
la noche.
Ding, 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 ding. Sing.
Next week we're watching
Cars.
Cars.
The original.
The original Cars because
Cars number 1.
And we will not be talking about the second or the third.
They
You know
won't
what?
be mentioned
That
at
doesn't
all.
matter, because you know what's so great about Cars?
Not the music.
Is that
That's
voice by Owen Wilson? Wow.
Okay, I'm
I
ready now.
made it into a real Disney movie. I did it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's
This
why
is
I'm
the
not
longest-
excited.
Ka-chow.
Pretty sure this is the longest recurring joke we have on this podcast is Owen Wilson.
And it's
So-
all your fault.
It's
It's
definitely
not.
Shakira.
Shakira sounds like Owen Wilson. I'm sorry, guys.
No, he doesn't.
Anyways. Yeah.
It started with Zootopia, and when you called her a giraffe.
I'm pretty sure Zootopia was what, like episode 4, and
was-
we're on
it was a while
33
ago.
now. This joke is still going.
Yeah.
It's fine. You guys love it. This is actually one of those movies that was very, very close in one of our listener votes. We had a lot of listeners who want us to watch Cars. So we'll watch Cars. We're doing it. Plus, there's a whole land after it, so we should probably watch it.
Which is, I'll just say it now.
Legit.
We'll talk about it later. Amazing.
Legit. Way better.
Cars Land.
Cars Land is
One of the best
amazing.
themed things that Disneyland has
They
done.
did a
For sure.
great job on it. It looks so good and realistic.
I feel like a car.
Hola.
Oh.
You guys don't know what that is. We'll talk about it next week. Anyways.
All right. You guys, that's been
Luis
it.
is shaking his head over here.
That's been it for this week. Please come back next week. We're going to be talking about cars. We want you to go to our social medias, hit us up there, see what we got going on. We are at the Walt Vault Pod on Instagram. That's where all the action is happening. But you can also head over to Twitter or Facebook. We are at the Walt Vault Pod there. If you want to ask us a question, feel free to slide on into our DMs like Frozone and ask us anything. Ask us questions, ask for advice, ask what our favorite movies are, whatever you want.
Or to send an email that says "Happy Summer Vacation, Luis."
Yeah.
It must be nice to have 2
Send
months
one
off
of
work.
those. You can send us emails to contact@thewaltvaultpod.com. We may just read your message on the show if it's good enough or if we get one. That would be great.
Andre doesn't even care if it's good. He just wants.
want
He
you
just
to
wants.
email me. I got an email the other day, and I thought it was from like a fan, but it was like, "Hey, we'd like you to join our podcasting site." I'm like, "Whatever, dude. This isn't even a fan email."
Calm down,
It was like
sir.
spam.
At least you got one.
Guys, help me filter out the spam. If you'd like to support us, there's a couple ways you can do that. You can subscribe. That's the easiest way. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, anywhere that you can get podcasts, and leave us a review or a rating, and that really helps us out, helps us get seen by more and more Disney fans. You can also help us out by shopping on Amazon. Go to thewaltvaultpod.com/Amazon and click the link and shop normally, and then we'll get a small percentage of your purchase at no additional cost to you. That's great. And the best way to support us is to go to patreon.com/thewaltvault, and that's where you can get access to our after show, A Crack in the Vault.
Do it because we're totally posting Andre's notes on this movie.
I'm going to begin posting my notes from when I watch the movies. I watch the movie, I write notes as I do them, and it's all just nonsense, funny, silly stuff. So check those out. That's it for now, you guys. We'll see you next week for some vroom vrooms. The vault is now closed.